Hello and welcome guys to another video on our channel. So we are testing something today. We haven't yet seen officially every SR that will be in the new set, even though the new set comes out in like 12 days from the point of recording of this video. However, players already got their product, which usually is the case. So some sellers get it early, some people get their hands on early, and people are opening products. So I will do now Bandai's job in advertising the product by telling you how good every SR in the set is, if they're worth buying into, if the set is a good looking set or not. We will not go over whole archetypes because I need a little bit more time to digest that, to also think about playlines and stuff like that. And I'm not an expert for every color, so I will leave that maybe to my teammates or maybe to other people to do for those colors. I will just play about the things I see right now, and I think I can pretty well talk about SRs and how good they will be. So let's dive into the video and see if it gets taken down by Bandai, because they don't want to advertise their product and they don't want other people to advertise their product. Let's go. So as you can see here, we are here with our product. So if I did everything right, I'm pointing in that direction. This is my second monitor, so you can see where I'm pointing at, and it points toward the cards, like at least a little bit. So we are talking about black SRs first. We have 18 SRs in total, and I will talk a little bit about the SRs itself and how I feel like they will do. So this is our indestructible blocker, something black hasn't had before, if I remember correctly. Activate main for 2 if you have 3 or more energy and you send 2 black cards from your drop to their owner's warp. Draw 1 card, play this card from your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send to its owner's warp. Activate main once per turn, send 2 black unisons from your drop to their owner's warp. Switch this card to active mode. So first off, this is a generic barrier removal for black besides Cumber. Is it better than Cumber? It's difficult. I would say no, because in Cumber you pay 1 energy less and you get a potential 25k double strike swing. However, what is interesting about this card is that this card allows for a more defensive playstyle. So indestructible blocker is something not many decks can work with. It also had 25k power, so I know that some red cards can minus 20, but minus 25 is not that easy for them. We totally ignore the activate main because most black decks won't play 2 black unisons and they won't have it in the drop. And most black decks don't want to warp like 2 cards from their drop to their warp to even play this card. So I feel like this card will mostly see play in more defensive decks that still need barrier removal for black. I can think of a deck right now, because every deck that is more leaning towards a controlish playstyle, like Cooler, Golden Cooler, or Fu, does have their own barrier removal with Cumber, because like the Cooler deck plays the Z, super combo, the Cumber super combo, and therefore has easy access to Cumber, and it also plays the 5-drop Cumber, like the TP boss monsters, therefore access to the 7-cost Cumber is also easy, and Fu does play Cumber all the day anyway, so he has barrier removal. I feel like this card is more like an in-archetype barrier removal, and most black decks, also most good black decks right now, are playing too much with their warp, with overwhelming. So I don't feel like this is a good SR card. Maybe it will come up in the future. For now, I would give it a thumbs down, I feel like. Let's do a thumbs down, thumbs up thing, and we'll figure something out. If you have any ideas for some of those cards, please write them in the comments. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I will try to upload regularly now, at least until we have the spoiler season. I will also try to do other videos when it comes to competitive things, whenever I feel like it. So if you don't want to miss one of those videos, feel free to subscribe. I know that when I try to post advertisement in other groups, it might take a while for them to accept it, so you don't miss out on early videos. Let's go to the second SR. Oh, I need to click in here. This is an SS Rosé. So this is a unison and power 3 critical. For 1 energy, if your leader is black, play this card with 1 marker from your warp, and then ±0, send up to 2 cards from the top of your deck to their owner's warp, and this card gets 5k power for the turn. I feel like this is a really good card, and I feel like some decks want to include 1 or 2 copies for it. Why do I feel like it? So we all know that black decks tend to play the Migra, right? Or they have their own Z unison or their own unison. However, I can see some decks, for example Shroom and Salsa BT18, that kind of struggle with Awakening in turn 2, because they don't find themselves having 6 cards in their warp. So you can just play this card for 1 energy from your warp, you generate a 20k crit swing, which I think is pretty cool, and then you warp 2 more cards from the top of your deck, which is a really cool effect for at least that deck. It's also really good against battle card floodgates. If you still need like this 1 unison swing, and for 1 energy to generate a 20k crit swing is pretty huge in my opinion. And it comes from your warp, right? So you don't need to have it in hand. If you have it in hand, you can easily discard it with a Petrification or with the Demigra Unison for draw 2, discard 2, right? So it won't disturb your deck too much, and it won't make your deck size too clunky. So I feel like including 1 copy of it in black decks might be a good idea if you just need this Unison swing, like this 20k crit Unison swing, or you want to warp more cards from the top of your deck because you're looking for your SCR, for example, or for other stuff. So I give this one a thumbs down. A thumbs up. We go into green, so these were our black mono SRs. We now go into green. We have Lucifer, Demon King of Darkness. Auto Spirit boost 1. When this card is played, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's unisons and remove 2 markers from it. You can play it for 1 if your leader is green and you have 3 or more energy. And activate main if you have a Sleeping Princess with 7 or more markers on it in your battle area. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it, and this card gets 10k power and double strike for the turn. I have to say, I know that Sleeping Princess is a Z unison that, oh no, the Z unison is the extra that generates markers, which is a really weird concept we haven't had before so far. In the deck, it works like when you Spirit Boost 1, you can Spirit Boost off of your opponent's unisons. So in the deck, it's meant to be 4, it's like a -3 on your opponent's unison, and still a draw 1. But we're talking about it generically, right? So for 1 energy, you get a 25k swing and you -2 markers off of your opponent's unison. I feel like you can do better. For example, with the 1-drop Trunks, the 6-cost promo, when you play him for every token in play, you rest, you can put 1 marker away. You also have the Gohan rare in most decks nowadays. So I don't see this card being played, to be honest. I also don't feel like you want to Spirit Boost a lot in green decks, because green Z Unison tend to not gain markers. Most decks play still the Bardock Z Unison, and this Unison has problems generating markers if your opponent just swings into you and doesn't remove your blockers by skills. So I feel like this won't be a good inclusion into most decks. I give it a thumbs down. I don't like that card, to be honest. Then we have Great Ape Son Goku, Struggle in the Devil's Castle. For 2 and 2, you get a deflect blocker that basically kills 3 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less, and activate main battle once per turn, Spirit Boost 1, switch this card to active mode. Again, most green decks won't have a unison out with many markers, because they play with Dormant and your opponent is very much interested in clearing your unison, right? Or not killing you. So playing this card for 2 and 2 is very expensive. It has deflect, yes, but it doesn't have barrier. And we have so many cards that can remove a 2-cost, so it won't block often. It is a board clear, so I feel like this will be a good option for most green decks struggling with board removal. And I know that green tends to struggle with board removal. They oftentimes have cards that just KOs 1 card, which is pretty good. But sometimes you're just wishing for an ground-shaking Fury to just clear the board of your opponent, and this might be a cheaper version if you're playing against decks that play cards with 4 or less. However, the reality is that most decks play something bigger, or if they play the battle cards with 4 or less, they most likely have something like barrier or any other form of protection. So to be honest, I think like this card could be an inclusion in your Z deck. I don't feel like it will come up that often. If it would be for 1 or 2, it would have been a different story. But in my opinion, it's just too expensive. So I give it a medium thumb, maybe a little bit more downish. I just feel like green isn't good in this set, and these were the only 2 SRs we're getting, so green is not good. Red, on the other side, is by far the best color of the set. Oh brother, what cards have we seen this evening? It's not even funny anymore. Let's start with the SR reviewed by Bandai themselves. For 2 energy, barrier, Red now has barrier removal. Congratulations, Red. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, draw 1 card, play this card from your hand, place up to 3 red extras from your drop under this card, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 35k power or less and KO it. Sounds okay. But the main thing is the activate main. Please 3 cards from under this card into the owner's drop. Choose one, choose up to one of your opponent's cards or units ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30k power for the turn, or switch this card to active mode. In the Broly deck itself, you can make it a quadruple attacker, because you can use its own effect to restand it. You can use your leader or this effect twice, because you put 6 Brolys from your drop under it to switch it to active mode 2 more times, so it's 4 times an attacker. Or you can kill like 3 cards ignoring barrier, which is crazy. This card definitely thumbs up. It's barrier removal for every red deck. I can see every red deck running at least 2 copies from now on. You need 3 extra cards, however, in your drop, and this is where I see this card struggling a little bit. This is why I'm just tending towards 2. You have your explosive dances, you have your token negates, you also have your imposing presence if you're playing a red Saiyan. However, you also have your Vegito sparking negate, right? People don't play after image anymore, for example, because Vegito is just better. So this card might be difficult to set up, however, it's definitely worth an inclusion as a 2-off, because now you have barrier removal, right? And with cards combined like the SR Beastan from Vegeta's set, you have a draw to discard 2, where you can just discard 2 extra cards, and then you have 3 extras, most likely in your drop, and you can play this card and wipe something off the board ignoring barrier. It's really cool. It struggles a little bit into cards that can blank skills on play, so it will be difficult to kill still something like Sin Shenron, right? Because it's an activate main to kill something ignoring barrier. But it's worth something, so I give it a thumbs up. It's a thumbs up. I'm sorry. We're now going into Whatnot territory, and Whatnot apparently has not an option to full-size images or to have any pixels. So let's try to read this card. For 3 and 3, you get a double strike blocker something something. If there are 2 or fewer battle cards in your opponent's battle area, this card can't be removed from a battle area by your opponent's skills. And when this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 30k power for the turn. Additionally, when your opponent's battle card is played or attacks, your leader and this card get 5k power for the turn. This is really, really broken, brother. I know that there are cards in the Broly deck that reduces this card, so this card is most likely just for Broly, right? In other red decks, you will never pay 3 and 3 for it. In the Broly deck, you need to play battle cards to get rid of that card. At least 3. If you don't have 3 on board, you need to play 3, so your opponent's leader is now at 30k base. And then you still need to get rid of that card with your 3rd card. So have fun swinging into a 30k leader, right? This will be very difficult. This card is a must-have inclusion in Broly for the more defensive turns. I would still give it a thumbs middle to down to all other red decks. I don't see you pay 3 and 3 for that. And I don't feel, at least I can't remember that the Broly card that reduces this card is free. Or like not free, but usable in other red decks. So more like a thumbs down for this one. Then we have the 3-man Kamehameha. I will try to get a little bit closer because this card is maybe the best SR in the whole set. So permanent, this card gains Earthling in all areas, so it is searchable, cool. Activate main battle for 4. If your opponent has 3 or more energy and it's your turn, draw 2 cards, then choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 30k power for the turn. Choose up to one of your Red Sun, Goten, Trunks, Youth or Krillin cards and it gets 10k power and triple strike for the turn. I would guess, but I don't know, that there is a card that reduces the cost of an extra card, or that reduces the cost of an activate main battle of your extra cards in this archetype deck, right? So in this archetype deck, it will most likely not cost 4, like this activate main battle. However, you still draw 2 cards, you still board wipe them, and you still get a triple strike for the turn. So there might be potential dual attackers that gain triple strike and a 10k push for the turn. Like I said, we will go over whole archetype once everything is revealed in a way that we can really revisit it and that we can speculate with deck lists and that we can test. I'm just going over SR cards and I'm just guessing based off what I've seen so far. The huge thing, however, for this SR is the activate main for 2 generic energy. This is correct. We have a 0 cost red extra card with 2 generic energy, meaning every deck can use this effect. Every deck, every color with every energy. Draw 1 card, cool. And now the huge part. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and it gets minus 25k power for the turn. Every color now has generic barrier removal for 2 energy. And what's even better, every color has now access to minusing something. This card kills Zamasu Mill, because most Zamasu Mill player will just evolve on top onto the same Zamasu over and over again. And everybody of them has 20k. So you're just siding in this card, you're wiping off the Zamasu card if you're getting dormanted and you don't know what to do with your energy anyway, and you're disturbing their playlines to the death. This is a really good card. Also, like every undestructible deck from now on needs a way to protect themselves or not be affected by skills. Still, like paying 2 is a lot, right? Don't get me wrong, like paying 2 is a lot for most decks. However, now we have a side deck card, a generic side deck card that can finally do something against indestructible. Like, blue only had this shitty 5-drop Trunks that gets immediately counterplayed before swinging with something. Green has the 8-drop Trunks, still a very good card. But now also something like blue has access, better access, to dealing with cards with indestructible. Or dealing with cards with barrier, because blue still don't have good barrier removal, and now we have better barrier removal. I would even say that this card might be better than the concept rare, the blue one we got. Yes, this is 1 energy more expensive, but it doesn't return back to hand. It gets rid of the card. And especially if we're talking about like really annoying cards, we can finally get rid of them, which is really, really cool, right? So I feel like this is a must-have card, at least 3 copies for your side deck whenever we have a meta where indestructible cards or heavy barrier decks come up and your deck doesn't have a solution to this. Really, really good card. I was blown away when I realized what you can do with it. Probably still very specific, but I love that. Then we have Krillin Assist. So again, we are living with whatnot here. Auto. Activate main battle, limit 1. It's a 3 cost. Without deflect, interesting. For 1, if your leader is red and your opponent has 2 more energy, draw 1 card, play this card from your hand, and this card gains barrier for the turn. Interesting. So we get a 15k barrier, dude. And then, when you activate a red extra from your hand, choose up to one of your red cards and it gets 5k power for the turn. This card alone feels weird. We have to think outside the box a little bit and think about what we could do with this. We know that the Trunks Krillin deck has 0 cost extra cards. So in this deck, we can beam our leader for the turn. We can beam dual attackers, we can beam the triple strike. We can do everything with it. And since this card gains barrier for the turn, it's very likely to stick at least a little bit. And maybe we can do some weird shenanigans where we play this card at activate battle speed in our opponent's turn, then use an extra card, beam our leader, and so on and so on. However, I feel like this card is still like very specific. And like we had similar cards in the past that we could play as an activate battle speed. I remember the Vegeta BR card, the red one, the TP one, that when played on your opponent's turn also beamed one of our red cards, and that card never saw play. I feel like this Krillin also won't see play, maybe in specific decks, talking about GT Android and Sangoku deck, the red one that Brad loves to play, shout out to you, brother. Or maybe this deck, right? Or maybe also the new Broly deck. However, I feel like all of the cards will be named Broly to make it as consistent as possible, and you won't play much outside of it. I would give it a thumbs down, I would say. It's cool, but it's not something Red needed. It's not a must-have inclusion, it's very specific. Then we dive into the SR cards for blue. We have 2 blue SRs. This is the first one. I feel like this is one of the best blue cards for me, personally. But I'm speaking out of a very specific perspective, right? So activate main limit 1. If your leader is blue and your opponent has 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. When this card is played, draw 2 cards, discard 1 card from your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to its owner's hand. This card is huge for Arinsu. Oh boy, is it huge for Arinsu. So what do most players do against Arinsu? Most likely they drop a BMS. Guess what you're doing now? You're dropping this bad boy. So if you're going second, you can use your energy marker to play this one. It draws 2 cards, it discards 1 card. Arinsu wants to have cards in her drop, right? It's perfect for her. This is everything she wants anyway. You see 2 new cards to make your turn 2 even more consistent. You're getting rid of BMS. Or Kai, if you're playing against blue, or any other thing. Will it come back? Yes, it will, because you're returning it to hand. Does your opponent need to spend 1 more energy? Yes, he does, and therefore it's very good. And you also generate a 25k swing immediately. It's also really good for something like 3-hand, for example, where you just want to cycle through your deck as fast as possible and generate high swings. It's just a good hand-fixing card, and if you're really looking for specific cards, draw 2, discard 1 for blue decks. It's awesome. Most blue decks work with Sparking 5 anyways for D-Magic, so you want to get like some cards early in your drop. I think this is a must-have card for blue players. It won't fit into every deck, but it fit into my decks, and therefore I'm very happy about it. I don't talk about the other effect. I will talk it at the end of your turn. Oh, there's a mouse here. You may add 1 blue Cooler's Armored Squadron card with an energy cost of 1 or 5 from your drop to your energy in rest mode. If you do it, 1 card from your energy to your Z energy. It's okay. Most other blue decks won't play the Cooler's Armored Squadron cards. They are commons, uncommons, and rares that best work with your leader. They are generic draw 1s and top 5 searches, but there's no reason to include them in your deck because it just works based off your leader ability for Cooler. I don't see a way them being played in other generic blue decks. It's cool that you generate a Z energy, right? So this is nice because most blue decks struggle with generating Z energy, or some at least. Fuck that effect. It's still a thumbs up for my blue decks at least. And talking about good blue cards, so this one is so fucking weird. And I can see people not liking this card. But brother, I'm playing 3-hand. I have a different lens on that. So let's talk about this. 3 and 3, very expensive. Deflect triple attack. When this card would be removed from a battle area by an opponent's skill, you may place 1 Cooler's Armored Squadron card from under this card into its owner's drop instead. Like I told you, most blue decks won't play the Cooler's Armored Squadron dudes, so we don't care. For 3 and 3, we right now have a Deflect triple attacker. Auto. When this card is played, place up to 3 cards with 5k combo power and different card names from your drop under this cards. We're talking about card names. Card names is the thing on top here. And this is not a character name. So this means basically I can still use 2 Gokus if they're not the same Son Goku card, right? So just 3 different cards. And then auto, use 1 card from under this card in a combo with its skills negated for the turn. When this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and return it to its owner's hand. I know what you're thinking. 3 and 3 is a lot. And I totally agree. 3 and 3 is way too much for most decks, right? I don't know if Cooler has any way to reduce this. I don't think so. At least I don't remember. Because I looked a little bit into the archetype cards there. It's a lot. It has no protection. But it is very aggressive. And it does everything 3-hand wants to do, right? So let me talk about it. So for every blue deck, thumbs down. For my blue deck, thumbs up. So basically, it's a free combo 3 times, which basically means you can trigger your leader effect for free without making minus in hand. This means most likely you're having 3 cards at the start of your turn. You're playing 3 and 3 for this dude. And then you have a 30k triple attack swing that every swing returns something back to hand. So you get rid of potential token negates, blockers, whatever card are currently disturbing you, and you're always comboing for free. So you get like for 3 energy, 3 strings with 30k power, and you're automatically re-standing 1. This is a nice tech inclusion for 3-hand. I don't know if any other deck can do something with it. Maybe Arinsu can also do something with it. It looks like a nice finisher if You're not playing against a deck with the extra card outside that can just kill it immediately at activate battle speed. If you're not playing against yellow releasing of evil the shit out of it. If you're not playing against black, who currently has 1 energy open for a potential petrification. If you're not playing against dormant because like 2 swings is not good enough, then you're better off playing a double striker before anyway. If you're not playing against red, who is able to minus 25k at activate battle speed. So you see, like, there's still room for your opponent to interact with that card, and it's still very difficult for you to get everything through. However, I feel like this card can come up, and I like this card a lot. I can see other blue decks not playing it. Also, it has a nice synergy with the Son Goku Z battle card, which says if your character has 2 or more names in it, you can give it triple strike and 10k push at an activate battle speed. So if you get this out turn 2 and then you play this guy afterwards, you have triple attack, and with each swing you have a triple strike threat, right? So I will definitely play this in 300 and let you know how it will work. I give it a thumbs up for 300, I give it a thumbs down for every other blue deck. You will always be better off playing this Android 18Z Unison for 3 and 2, because this gives way more value than this card. If this card would have had barrier, it would have been really good. But without barrier, I don't feel like this is it. I know that Cooler can give it barrier, the Cooler deck. White. This is not a white card. This is an Arinsu card as well. Activate main, limit 1 for 2 generic. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand, choose up to one card in your opponent's battle area and switch it to revealed mode. Then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it under this card. Like I said, this is an Arinsu card. Arinsu heavily struggles with removal. Now we suddenly have a card for 2 that has double removal. One time on swing, when this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it under this card. And once at play speed, which is really, really cool. So if your opponent tries to react with a potential counterplay, you can just suck the counterplay and then it resolves on your side. It's the same with Evil Saiyan or the Android 21Z battle card that also puts a card from your opponent's side under it. So this card is like uncounterable most of the time, right? And there are not extra cards counterplaying 25k 5 cost. At least like not many, and they're not played. And like I said, on swing you also snag something from your opponent's side. So if you're there reacting with a battle card Floodgate, you're taking control of that card, or taking control by putting it under it, before the opponent's auto can resolve. Therefore you're pretty much protected. Like I said, this card is really, really good for every deck struggling with removal. Every color now has a card that can remove 2 things for 2 energy and is a 25k swing. This is cool. I don't know why you would ever want to reveal an opponent's battle cards. Maybe there is some weird interaction against white where they want to have cards in hidden mode and you're disabling that and therefore are able to swing through. I'm not sure. I just like this card as being generic double removal for 2 energy and also being like counterplay immune and counterattack immune. This is like really, really cool. I would say it's a must-have card at 2 to 3 copies. Just leaving it in your binder when it's cheap, and then when you want to play a deck that has problems with removal, just side that in or main that and try it out, right? Then we have Pan Support, also a very generic card because it does not have any specified cost. Every Z deck can run it for 2 and 1. Deflect. When this card is played, choose up to 1 player's card and switch it to revealed mode, and activate battle once per turn, use up to 1 battle card from your drop in a combo with skills negated for the turn. Like I said, very generic. It's your silver bullet against white. So if they hide your SCR, for example, you can play this card off of your Z deck and reveal it again. Or any boss monster or any key card you want to use, right? It costs 2 and 1, so this is expensive. However, you still get the nice combo effect, so you can combo for free from your drop with skills negated for the turn, and there are a lot of decks out now that profit from comboing. So 300, for example, I named that as example earlier. You untap 1 if you Z-charge 1 blue energy, so you would pay 2 and 1 for her, swing with her, combo from a drop, and then get 1 energy back. Without needing to invest any cards in your hand, which is really cool. I would definitely say this card is a must-have, especially against white. I think a 2-off is okay. I feel like even a 1-off is okay because you have access for this card in your Z deck, so no need to play more than one copy, and then maybe leave it in your side deck and then switching out Z cards when you're playing against white, for example. Really good card. Really cool that we also get silver bullets for white now. Then we have SS Trunks Implanted Loyalty. Deflect Servant. If it's your turn when this card is switched to revealed mode or hidden mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Limit 1. And activate main limit 1. If your leader is white and your opponent has 2 more energy, draw 1 card and play this card from your hand. This card is okay. I wouldn't say more, I make it a little bigger for you. This card is okay. The effect is limit 1, so even if you're able to flip it and then flip it again, it's still limit 1, it's not once per turn, it would have been different then. You get a 20k swing. I don't like it that much, to be honest. It's just okay. Maybe I'm missing something, but for me it's just okay. It's a 20k swing. If you put it in hidden mode, it will restand because it doesn't have servant anymore, right? It's a flipped card. And then you flip it again, then you KO something again. So if you can hide it, you have every turn basically a free KO something. This could be very cool. Yeah, this could be very cool. Therefore, I would say, I mean, we're talking about white. White only has shit card at the moment, so thumbs up for this card because I feel like most likely it's better than most of the white cards anyway. Next card, it's a floodgate and it's not a floodgate. It's called Revenge Death Ball Final. Counterattack limit 1, negate the attack, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards up to the number of your hidden mode cards and switch them to hidden mode. Then switch all the cards switch to hidden mode by the skill to revealed mode at the end of the turn. So basically it's a big floodgate without being a floodgate. It punishes huge boards of your opponent. So if you're playing against white, you're best off playing cards, swing with them, playing cards, swing with them, playing cards, swing with them to work around this card. As a white player, I feel like this is a must-have because white doesn't have many options. Most players tend to play blue-white or black-white in the past to have access to Senzu Bean or Protector of the People. This card makes it totally possible for white to just play white, if that's your identity. It's even better, obviously, in decks where you tend to have many hidden mode cards. I know that Belmont tends to have many hidden mode cards. I don't know about Baby and Bulla yet, but I think they also will have many hidden mode cards. So I feel like this is a cool like 2 to 3 of inclusion in white decks. You should definitely have it, so thumbs up for that. Then we have white and black. Our only SR for white and black. This was shown in the trailer. Thanks Bandai for one of the 20 cards you showed us. Union Potara limit 1 for 1 black or 1 white. You Potara on a Sangoku card and a Vegeta card, doesn't matter the color. And you draw 1. When this card would be removed from a battle area by an opponent's skill KO'd once per turn, you may switch one of your revealed cards to revealed mode instead. This is like neglectable for every black deck because you won't have hidden mode cards. This could be cool for white decks. You can play it in white decks, something like also the white U7 deck, for example, or every other white deck in the future, right? And activate main, choose one of your white battle cards, switch to hidden mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to Zona Swap. This is pretty cool for every... I'm talking just about white decks right now, right? Because black decks tend to play Xeno cards, Sangoku and Vegeta Xeno cards. This is just a nice inclusion in the starter deck Vegito and in the SS Blue Sangoku deck it's made for. Besides that, I would play it in white decks most likely because you have white battle cards for the activate main. You have hidden mode cards, switch it to the reveal mode to instead to protect that. And also there's a very nice synergy between the Trunks and the Vegito, because if you have this card in hidden mode in your opponent's turn, and then they try to remove your Vegito in their turn, you can just reveal the Trunks, so then the Trunks triggers, you can KO a card from your opponent, and you even protect this one. So I see a huge synergy for this card and the Trunks card. So maybe the Trunks card is even better than I thought, combined with this. Pay attention, it has 1 combo cost, 10k combo power, so might be difficult to not make your hand so stuck. I think it's a good card. You also gain access to warping as a white player, which is cool. You have access to hidden mode, KOing and no warping as well. You need to have Sangoku cards and Vegeta cards. However, most white decks are able to play them. At least like the white U7 deck can play it. This definitely. I think the new decks, the Baby and the Bulla have just Vegeta GT cards, so be careful, you can't use them. However, you can use any Vegeta card, so maybe there's a world where you as a white player still play some multicolor shit. I would give this card like a medium thumb to a thumb down. I don't see black decks playing it, to be honest. I don't like it. White decks, maybe. In the future, it might be a very interesting card, and it's also nice synergy with the Trunks card we just saw. So therefore, it's an I don't know, basically. Then coming to yellow. This is a crazy Z unison we have right now, because it can draw and comes out of your Z deck. This is like very scary. And Power Yellow 2, if this card has 4 more markers on it. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, switch them to rest mode, and they can't switch to active mode until the end of your opponent's turn. This alone is crazy. You pay 3 and 2 for it, or 3 and 3, 3 and 3. 3 and 3, right? Oh, this is difficult. I feel like it's 3 and 3. And you just need a unison with 1 marker that can go to the drop, so not a Z unison, basically. And then you basically stun lock everything from your opponent, which is huge because we're living in a world of Piccolo secret being a thing, or SS4 Gogeta being a thing, right? So you can play this card, stun lock everything from your opponent, and you can be very sure that by the time your next turn is on, they're still in rest mode, so you can then play Gogeta secret and then go ham. Also, it has an activate main draw 1 card, which is very huge for yellow decks, especially if you're getting floodgated. Setting up this unison, stun locking everything, and then still drawing is huge. And we have an activate battle. This card gets, I think it's 10k power. Looks like a lot of zeros here, right? But it has to be 10k power. Everything else would be of 15k. And double strike for the battle, so it is a potential 30 or 35k double strike thing as well. As is unison for 3 and 3, it's cool. 3 Z energy is a lot. There are some yellow decks being very good at generating Z energy, for example Nova Shenron, who combos anyway, and I think it's still the best yellow deck. It will be probably, or it will still be the best yellow deck. I think it's a good card. I would do a one-off in your Z deck and call it day. Also a candidate for the best yellow card in the whole set, to be honest. This card, I don't know if yellow needed this, to be honest. Permanent, if your life is 3 or less, this card gets 5k power and double strike. What fucking ever. It's cool, but what fucking ever. When this card attacks, until the end of your opponent's turn, the next time your opponent switches a battle card to active mode by one of their skills, place that card into its owner's drop. Dual attack just died against yellow. Dual attacker and triple attacker had it difficult against yellow anyway, because release from evil was a thing, time magic was a thing, and other stuff was a thing. However, I still like playing dual attackers against yellow, because then you give them less cards in rest mode on board, so they can profit well off of Gogeta's secret or Piccolo's Gohan secret, right? Or then you the battle card Gohan Golden card, which also needed X cards in rest mode, right? So the plan against yellow usually was don't have many cards in rest mode, therefore play cards which can swing 2 or 3 times. This card makes it impossible to play dual attackers anymore. What fucking ever, because it comes down, if you have 3 or more energy, play this card from your hand. Additionally, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand. If you do, add the top card of your deck to your life at the end of the turn. This effect is even better, because you make a +1 in hand now, right? Oh no, ±0 in hand. But even better, if your opponent thinks, well, he now goes to 5 energy, but he's still at 4 life, he can't play Gogeta secret, guess what? He plays this card and then he plays Gogeta, because he's self-awakening. And then he has a 40k quadruple strike, he has X amount of whatevers, and 25k double striker, and then leader swing and potentially even more, right? This card is really, really good. You need to get rid of that card immediately once it comes down. However, it's a 6 cost with 20k. Good luck counterplaying that shit. And you need to get rid of it as well. So once they attack, the skill is in the air basically. So removing it afterwards doesn't matter. And then you are just off to playing single attackers or cards that just swing once basically. You can't even switch something to active mode by something like Beastan, for example, right? Secret. Doesn't work. doesn't make sense. You can do it with your leader, obviously, right? Or with a unison. But this card will be a problem. It will be a cool card, also good for a Majin Vegeta starter deck or other decks, because it's a Vegeta card you can put Tara over, or you can put in your Z energy for your other effects. So I would say as a yellow player, must have card, 2 to 3 copies. It's a really good card. It's a really good card. Then we have Zarbon Battle with Vegeta. It's an SR, but it's a weird SR because you can just play it if your leader is a yellow Vegeta or Frieza's army card and you have 2 or more energy, draw 1 card and play this card from your hand. Choose one of your yellow battle cards with an energy cost of 3 and KO it. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. And then if your opponent has 3 or more energy, this card gains barrier blocker. I don't like this card. It's a weird card. I don't know why you should KO your own stuff to just switch something to rest mode. Yellow can switch so many things to rest mode with like on the side with like side effects, right? You don't really need this. You also don't need the barrier blocker with 20k. You are yellow. I mean, what are we talking about? You have more than enough stuff to defend yourself, and we see more and more barrier removal being present each day. I would never spend 1 energy for it. And it's also leader locked to a yellow Vegeta or to a Frieza's army card. So the amount of deck that can even play this card is very low. I can't think of a nice synergy why you should ever play this card at the moment. I don't feel like it's worth playing. So for me, it's a thumb down. Maybe I forgot some specific deck that loves this card right now. I'm really sorry for it. I'm just talking here out of a generic perspective. And with that, we have every single SR revealed. So if we're going over the whole SRs, this set definitely has some nice cards. It gives colors or even decks specific answers to problems they had before. You don't need every SR. I feel like green has the worst SRs of every color. I will go over the highlights right now. This is a highlight for me as a 1 or 2 of in every black deck from now on, just to have this 20k crit swing as a unison swing, right? It's a good choice. It's really good choice. Then we have the Broly, obvious inclusion, it's barrier removal. We have our generic indestructible removal now, or barrier removal also for other colors, really good. We have Cooler, very good for Arinsu or for Threon or for every blue deck that wants to be as consistent as possible. And we have the Armored Squadron attack, a thumbs down for every other deck, a thumbs up for Threon as a nice inclusion. We have Super 17, a really good inclusion for decks struggling with removal. We have Pan Support, really good card against white, buy copies of it. We have Trunks, really good, especially in combination together with the Vegito card. We have Revenge Death Ball, a Floodgate, and not a Floodgate at the same time for white, also must inclusion for white. We have Frieza, must one-off in yellow Z decks from now on. And we have Vegeta, must-off inclusion 2 to 3 times in most yellow decks, or at least a nice option to have. And that's it. So I would say like half of the cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 18 cards are really, really usable and will most likely see a play either in side decks or even in main decks. So if you ask me, just wait like 1 or 2 weeks until prices are dropping, we don't have any events, and then usually most SREs you can buy for just a few bucks. So don't worry too much, we haven't seen every SPRs, we have seen the God Rare as well, I won't spoil that. You can look up to on different Discord channels or whatever to see how the card looks like. I'm very excited for the last trailer for Bandai to show us SPRs. I'm pretty sure that most SPRs will be either SRs or uncommons because they did it in the last set as well. And we've already seen uncommon Black Trunks being an SPR choice as well, and an uncommon Bull and an uncommon Baby card being SPR choices as well. That being said, leave your thoughts down below. I'm very excited for the set now. We can finally test. We've seen every card. Bandai, please do the reveals different next time. This season was horrible. It was really horrible. And we as players are basically now promoting your game, which I think is completely hilarious, but whatever. That being said, I wish you guys a wonderful evening, rest of the day or whatever, and see ya.